All right, let's talk about love, marriage, and money. We're going to dive into a brilliantly chaotic one-act play by Anton Chekhov called The Proposal. It's a short, sharp story from 19th century Russia that shows us just how incredibly wrong a simple question can go.
So just think about it for a second. What's the absolute worst thing that could happen during a proposal? Maybe an awkward silence? Or, a flat-out no? Well, Chekhov takes that idea and just cranks it up to 11. We're talking absolute hilarious chaos.
Okay, so let's meet our guy, Ivan Lomov. He's this nervous, pretty well-off landowner, and he shows up at his neighbor's house with what should be a very simple plan: propose marriage. But, yeah, as you can probably guess, things don't just go a little bit wrong. They go completely off the rails.
And get this, all this drama, it revolves around just 3 people. And let me tell you, they are all masters at arguing. First, you've got Lomov, our anxious suitor, who's also a bit of a hypochondriac. Then there's Natalia, who is super strong-willed and definitely not the quiet, passive type. And rounding it out is her dad, Chubakov, who is just so desperate to marry her off.
All right, so the plan was simple. Let's see how it immediately turns into a total battle. So after a whole bunch of nervous stuttering, hemming and hawing, Lomov finally spits it out to Natalia's dad, Chubakov. He makes it crystal clear why he's there.
So far, so good, right?
And what does Dad do? Oh, he is just over the moon, absolutely thrilled. He's hugging Lomov, calling him his angel and his own son. In his mind, this deal is already done. But then, Natalia walks in, and she has no idea why Lomov is there, and this, right here, is where everything goes completely sideways. It all starts with a fight over this tiny little piece of land called the Oxen Meadows. So Lomov's trying to ease into the whole proposal thing, and he just casually mentions the Oxen Meadows, like they're his. Whoops! Natalia slams on the brakes immediately. For her, it's not even a question. That land belongs to her family.
And Lomov's response? It's just one word. But it's so stubborn, it's basically the spark that lights the whole powder keg. He just says, mine, and bam, proposal forgotten. Now it's all about who owns this patch of dirt.
And from there, things just get wild. I mean, it goes from 0 to 100. The argument stops being about land and turns into a full-on screaming match about their families. They start throwing out these insane insults, talking about grandfathers, drunkards, and even a humpbacked mother. It gets nasty, fast.
And for Lomov, this is all way too much. He's feeling his heart pound, his foot's going numb, and he just can't take it. He gives up and storms out of the house. No proposal, nothing.
Okay, but you gotta see what Natalia does next. The second her dad accidentally tells her that Lomov was actually there to propose, she has a total meltdown. All that stuff about the land, poof, gone. Now all she cares about is getting him back. She's hysterically screaming, "Fetch him back! Ah, fetch him!" So they literally drag poor Lomov back into the house. He's exhausted. Natalia is trying to smooth things over, but it doesn't last. Within minutes, they find something new and maybe even more ridiculous to fight about. What is it this time? They're hunting dogs. Seriously. Lomov starts bragging about his dog Guess, and Natalia, of course, immediately jumps in saying her dog, Squeezer, is 100 times better. And here we go again.
Lomov is not having it. He's not going to let her insult his dog. He passionately defends Guess and basically tells her to go hang her dog Squeezer.
And Natalia, she's just as fiery. She fires right back with an insult that hits him right where it hurts, saying his dog is so silly and old, he's practically half dead already. So this second fight, believe it or not, gets even more heated than the first one. Now, Dad, Chubakov, jumps into the argument too, so you've got all 3 of them just screaming, and it pushes poor, fragile Lomov right to the absolute limit.
And then, the ultimate drama. Overwhelmed by the argument and all his so-called ailments, Lomov just dramatically cries out that he's falling. He collapses right into a chair, completely motionless. Natalia and her father are totally horrified. They splash water on him, but he doesn't respond. For a terrifying moment, they really believe their argument has actually killed him.
And in this moment of pure panic, Chubakov sees an opportunity. I'm not kidding. As Lomov starts to stir, the father doesn't check if he's okay. Nope. He grabs his daughter's hand, shoves it into Lomov's, and frantically forces the engagement right then and there before Lomov can faint again or run away. And just like that, they're engaged. So let's take a look at what this family bliss actually looks like.
And this is really what Chekhov is getting at. This is the whole point of the satire. This isn't a romance, it's a business transaction. Both families are wealthy, and the marriage is just a convenient, financially sound arrangement. Love isn't just on the back burner, it was never even on the stove.
And you want to know the proof? The very second the proposal is accepted, Natalia tries to get the last word in about the dogs, and Lomov, who's barely even conscious, argues right back. Their engagement begins exactly where their argument left off. So we're left with this perfect, hilarious image. A newly engaged couple screaming at each other while the father frantically calls for champagne to celebrate the deal. Chekhov leaves us with a biting question. Is this chaotic, argumentative, and financially motivated union what really passes for the start of family bliss?